again. I am so excited because we've been getting some really fantastic suggestions of things to do in our episodes. And so this week, I thought one of the suggestions we would take up would be to focus on one iconic designer. I chose Yves Saint Laurent because up until, I would say, the last 15 to 20 years, his pieces continue to have a tremendous impact on fashion, and his collections, so many of them are notable. I'm going to tease you by leaving this beautiful Sleeping Beauty in the box for the moment. I just want to say a few words. When you think of Yves Saint Laurent, you think of his first collection, which was the trapeze dress, which kind of exploded him into the fashion world. What an incredible young man at the age of 21, taking on this massive job of carrying on Christian Dior's Haute Couture atelier. I can't even imagine the pressure that put on him. Meanwhile, he went from the trapeze dress to creating several other collections. And the incredible thing is that many of his pieces from the Dior time period, they're really limited because he was only there basically for 2 years. So I thought what we would show you today are 3 pieces from Christian Dior during Yves Saint Laurent's tenure. This first piece has a pretty remarkable story. It is, I hate to really take her out of her bed because she was so perfectly placed in there by Mike. It is this wonderful peau de soie satin jacket with this, it's not really a spaghetti strap, but it's this fabulous dress where the label states Autumn-Winter 1959 with the number, and the construction on this thing is remarkable. One of the other things people have asked me is, where do I get these pieces? A good majority of what I get at auction, and I'm pretty competitive when it comes to getting what I want. This piece and another one came from an extremely unusual set of circumstances. There was a theater company that was the recipient of, a lot of theater companies get things donated by people that live in their area. So Jeannie Magnan, who was the wife of one of the Magnans, Bay Area store, donated a whole bunch of things to a local theater group. And sadly, one year there was a storm where a tremendous amount of rain, I think, caused the roof of the storage area where these costumes, and I'll call them costumes in quotes, were stored, and the roof caved in. So what the theater company did was they hired a dumpster, and they threw everything that got wet and damaged into the dumpster. I'm not making this up. So as luck would have it, this woman that I know who's a costumer went and asked the theater company, would it be okay with them if she rummaged through what was in the dumpster and pulled out pieces that she thought still had life in them. And she pulled out several pieces of Christian Dior Haute Couture. This is one of them. And remarkably, there's very little damage from the dumpster and from like the tar and construction elements from the building. But I mean, when I say this story, I think you're not going to believe me, but it's true. So, okay, so this cocktail dress, which has layers, which is very typical of any couture piece. The corselet, which is built in with all the couture finishing, and you'll see a little bit of soiling, but I mean, really, considering this poor journey that this dress has been on, it's in incredible condition. So we'll leave this at that for the moment. Oh, and I'll also say one of the things I like to do is I like to look at the hem, because that gives me an indication of whether or not the garment has been altered. In this case, I would say I don't believe it has, because there's no line which delineates the original hem. Also, you can tell if a person has gained weight or lost weight if you look at the seams to see if there are any additional stitches, and you look underneath to see if there's any additional kind of ghost of stitching. You'll know if a piece has been altered. Why is that important? Because if you're buying a piece as a collectible, which I would say this is not something that I would ever consider wearing, because it's made by a master and it's haute couture. You don't want to buy pieces that have been tampered with. It's kind of like if you think of a beautiful piece of art that Picasso made, if you're not quite fond of the blue that's in that painting and you decide to paint over it, you've completely destroyed the value. So it's similar with couture pieces. You don't want to play with them. If you're buying it as a wearable and it's been played with, no problem. But I would say if it's in good condition, then leave it alone. So after this incredible story of how I acquired the ivory ensemble, I just wanted to share with you the second piece, which was also rescued from the dumpster. It's from the same period. It's this incredible super fine file. And what I love about this is it still maintains showing the female form, but it has a lot of different details, like this is kind of a panier, which makes the hip seem a little bit larger, which accents a woman's waist even more. This piece, unfortunately, is not in as good condition. It has been altered, and it is a piece that I will invest the money and have a conservation person bring it back to its original state. You can see on the inside that things have been done to it, but I'm pretty confident that we can bring it back to its former glory. One of the things I wanted to mention is when you think of Yves Saint Laurent, you think of his muses, everyone from Lulu de Valais to Bianca Jagger to Nan Kempner, and these women were, and even Talitha Getty, and the impact that Morocco had on so much of his designs in the late 60s and early 70s. He had created such an impact between the trapeze dress, the smoking jacket, smoking suit, the Mondrian dress. I mean, I could just go on, the Russian collection. So much of what he did still is seen in many of the designs that designers are creating today. This beauty is a piece, actually my first Yves Saint Laurent for Christian Dior Haute Couture piece that I've ever acquired. I got it in San Francisco from a woman who had been an actress, and not a well-known actress, but she married well. And a lot of her clothing was made by couturiers in Paris, as well as some of the top American designers. What I love about this piece is the construction. It is a fabulous taffeta that is tiered, and it's like a bubble. When you wear it, it bubbles out. It's shorter in the front and longer in the back, which is great. So it creates almost a train-like feeling. It, as always, has the built-in corselet, and the condition on this piece is really great. When I first moved to Los Angeles in 2004, we were really blessed because we got a lot of press, and we actually loaned this dress for the annual Vanity Fair cover, where they highlight actresses that need to be focused on. So, having this store has really been a portal to introducing me to some really fabulous people. Maybe I don't know, 13 or 14 years ago, a woman by the name of Vibeke Knudsen came in and had some personal pieces to sell. She didn't have the smoking suit, but she told me that she was the original model in the Helmut Newton photograph. And sure enough, when I went to review the photograph to confirm my memory, she was and is. I have since lost contact with her, but it was really a thrill to meet someone that is part of our fashion iconic history. There's so much I can say about Yves Saint Laurent and my admiration for him and the impact he's had then and now on fashion. It's pretty amazing when you think about how someone so young could have started a remarkable career and then to have had this brief interruption where he had to go into military service. And during that time, he essentially was fired from Dior. I oftentimes say rejection is God's protection, and in the case of the world, it was a gift for us because that's what launched his career. The fact that he was partnered with an incredible businessman, Pierre Berger, and their partnership lasted for decades, and here we are. They're still, they have withstood the test of time. So that's it for now. Look forward to seeing you next week, and thank you so much for watching this program, and with gratitude for all your time and attention and all the love that you send back to us with your comments.